Hey, Viking fans, coming off the worst offensive performance of the year, who's going to start at quarterback against the Raiders? Let's talk about that next in three, two, one. Gather around, Skull Brothers and Sisters. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, ring the bell. Please ring the bell. That way you will see my content currently shadow banned, demonetized. But hey, that might change in January. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I haven't put out a lot of content lately, but I am done with vacation. I am back. I can put more time into this. Thank you for sticking with me. Let's finish the season strong. Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, let's talk let's look at the what we had for a record, man. Um, I think well, what the heck? Okay, so I'm missing a screen, I'm missing an overlay, no problem. But hey, we finished the last 6 games 4-2. We had two just heartbreaking losses. One to the Denver Broncos, should have won that game. And then we lost to the Bears at home, their first conference win by Justin Fields. It's embarrassing. I was sitting on a cruise ship and I had Justin Fields. Oh, I had a woman named Cheryl. She's a Bears fan sitting next to me, and we're talking the whole game. I'm telling them how awful this game is. They fumble with 3.5 minutes left, giving those the ball back. Cheryl got up and left. I'm like, God, this isn't over. We got to get a first down. We didn't. And then we basically dropped back, rush three, rush four, drop back. They had 35 or what, a 8 yard completion, kick an easy field goal, give us the ball with 10 seconds left. Cheryl had the internet, so she on the cruise ship, so she probably saw it eventually. But before I'm gonna do some record predictions for the rest of the season, but before we do, let's talk about who should be quarterback moving forward. I am not gonna predict who they're gonna choose. I'm not, and I honestly I think they'll lean back to starting Dobbs again. Justin Jefferson starting. He was immediately activated. Why wasn't he activated for the game? He was activated the next day. He wasn't activated. He couldn't play a home game, but he could be activated the next day. Um, I didn't get that. I don't really get that. If he was healthy enough on Tuesday, why wasn't he healthy enough on Monday? Did like something change? The Vikings have played very conservative with injuries, except for Alexander Madison, who played the next week after concussion. Other than that, they played pretty conservative on injuries. So I don't know what to say there. But Justin Jefferson's back, so we'll have some time to get him back up to speed with more of the quarterbacks up to speed with him, and we'll find out who gets who. And one of the big winners from this was Brandon Powell. Brandon Powell stepped up, and he has won a lot of playing time. So moving forward, that guy's going to be returning as a Viking most likely. Nobody's going to go after someone's third receiver, right? So it's going to be pretty easy to re-sign him. In fact, our fourth receiver. Big loser in this is Jalen Naylor. I'm a big fan of his. The only way I see him is earning some playing time in the offseason if KJ Osborne isn't re-signed, which I kind of tend to believe he won't be, but we got such loyalty. I'm actually 50-50 on that we re-sign KJ Osborne. Because they really like him and he's a good team player, so there's a lot of things there. So those are some big winners since Justin Jefferson's been out. Jordan Addison, a big loser after Kirk Cousins left. He has not scored a touchdown since the Packer game, and he was leading all rookies at the time. So Big loser there, and that I believe is correct because big winner would be TJ Hawkinson. He's been the crutch for Josh Dobbs since he started. So I was big on Jarenhall starting that first game against Atlanta. Looked good. He threw a deep ball. Now compare to that deep ball he threw to Alexander Madison that game. Compare it to the deep ball Josh Dobbs finally throws a deep ball. Jordan Addison doesn't bring it down to start the game, but later in the game, Jordan Addison, similar double move. Well, a double move. I think Madison's more of a wheel route, just ran by the guy. But this was a double move down the sideline to the left. Um, Jaron Hall to Madison was on the right, but Dobbs threw it out of bounds. Trajectory was going out of bounds. All he had to do was throw it 2 yards inwards, and he catches that on the fly, running into the end zone with nobody around him. We end up scoring on that drive, but that's just an example of Josh Dobbs, what he showed to us, what his deep balls looks like. Maybe not a lot of not a big sample size per se, but we did see that he is forcing the ball. My two big questions I had on my live shows was I haven't seen a deep ball yet, and I haven't seen tight windows because the first couple of games, he had wide open dudes. He was just hitting them because they're wide ass open. Um, but now he's throwing behind guys, not leading them, not throwing with anticipation. I mean, Jordan Addison on a 15-yard in route bounces off his hands because he just turned his head around. He takes a little off and throws it out in front. Man, that's some yardage. That's some catch and run. So there is a big difference between a Josh Dobbs and a Kirk Cousins when it comes to accuracy and throwing with anticipation. There's been other times, and again, I haven't been on this doing daily content. I've been doing my live shows, but I'm going to be doing daily content on moving forward. That Jordan Addison has been, there's been times where if he just waited a little bit and threw him open, it'd have been there. So Josh Dobbs' strength lies with his ability to scramble and make plays with his legs. It is not pocket passing. The guys have to be open. They have to be wide open. He's not throwing them open. He's shown that he's throwing it late. He's shown that he's you know not leading his receivers. There's enough sample size there to show you why he's been a backup, a journeyman backup at that. At what, 7 teams? I guess I don't know, but he can succeed. He is a threat as a runner, and defenses always figure you out, and they figured out Josh Dobbs to keep him in the pocket. So that would behoove, if he is going to start moving forward, that he's got to move him. KOC has got to move him around the pocket. Now, now a couple things too is 2 game. I think it was the Denver game where he went to scramble and he turns his back to the line. I don't like that. I seen Jaron Hall in the first 2 drives, his scrambling, everything was moving forward. Dobbs was like that too until recently. Yeah, this turning the back to the line thing where you're not looking downfield, and that's not great. So Jaron Hall, very small sample size, but historically, college tape, eyes forward, looking downfield. I love that about him. Do I think Jaron Hall is going to be the starter at any time the rest of the season? It just sounds like Nick Mullens was our backup quarterback. That he's our backup. We got to go back to him. That's sort of, he's talking him up about how he knows everything about the offense. I just assume if they do move on to somebody else, it's going to be Nick Mullens. Now, Nick Mullens is a gunslinger. This would definitely help Justin Jefferson. because he's going to throw it downfield. He's not afraid to do that, and he's going to throw it into tight coverages. He's going to throw jump balls. He has been successful that way at times. He's led blowout offensive performances, a couple of them. So he can do that. Turnovers issue. But Dobbs is leading the league in turnovers with 17. He has more turnovers than Mike Conley, the point guard of the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. And he has the ball all the time. He's the point guard. Josh Dobbs has more NFL turnovers than Mike Conley has basketball turnovers, which is in his 0.8 per game. And Josh Dobbs for the Vikings is 1.75 per game. So that's crazy to me to see that. I went to look. I'm like, I wonder what the point guard for the Timberwolves has. Sure, he's got like 2 turnovers a game. No, he's got less than 1. And our quarterback for the Vikings has more than that, twice as more than that, more than twice that. So Josh Dobbs, turnover machine. Those are tip balls, but they were forced throws, and they were not leading. And the ones that were tips were tips because the defense could hit it. All right, and then where you got Jordan Addison just barely turning around and he hits him. As hard as he throws a hard ball high. It's just he's a turnover machine, and that's what he's been known for, and that's what he's continuing to do. And that is not what we need going forward. We could, with this defense, if we play conservative, we win one of those 2 games, if not both of them. Avoiding turnovers. So that's being said, I think Nick Mullens would be the option that they'd go to, not Josh Dobbs. Or if they don't go with Josh Dobbs. But I just think too much pride in coaching that they don't like to change their mind. And they say, I can fix him, and they'll move on. They like the story, whatever. But I think it's either Josh Dobbs or Nick Mullens. What would I prefer? Ask me. I'd prefer jarenhall the rest of the season, because you're doing 2 things. You're getting to see what you got, that with a team that's not going to win the Super Bowl, most likely. It's going to be hard. That's a hard road to go, especially with Dallas and San Fran playing so well, and the Eagles playing so well. That's a long road, man. That's a tough road, and with a backup QB. So why not find out what you got with jarenhall? And I think he can win games. You just got to be 3-2 the rest of the year, and you're easily making the playoffs, it looks like. Most likely. Now 6-6, we're unbelievably we're the 6th seed, not the 7th. And we're still in the playoff hunt. So we're going to talk about where we are now. I think we can make the playoffs with either quarterback. I think we can, with the schedule we got left. We can make with either quarterback. So right now we're on the bye. The Raiders game, I'm giving us a win on that one. I think our defense will shut them down, and all we have to do is score in the teens to win this game. That's how I feel. That's how I feel in this game. It's on the road. Vikings are traveling. They were planning for this. They were moving. They were going out there because we were on a winning streak. We're looking good, and we're traveling to that game. Now, if we win that, we'll travel to Cincinnati too. Why not? They've lost 3 games in a row. They haven't looked good. They're getting worse each week. So I'm going with another win. We're 8-6 with this. 8-6. Now, Lions game, I'm a little worried about this one. We were losing at home. Lions, I think, will be a little bit back on track. They'll get over their turnover woes, and we'll lose this game at home. Of course, can't win at home. Now we'll right the ship. By then, we'll have our quarterback situation probably ironed out, and we're going to go into Green Bay and win this game. I think our defense will have Jordan Love figured out, and we'll win this game. Now, Lions will have the 3rd seed. Yeah, the 3rd seed just ironed out. They can't get the second seed. They can't lose to the fourth seed. So they're gonna. Dan Campbell's smart dude. He's not gonna go out and play all his starters, and he's gonna rest them. And the Vikings win that on the road in Detroit because we're playing for a playoff game. Now, if we have already got it sewed up at a 500 record, then maybe, or what would we be? No, we would have a 9-7 we would end up with a 9-7 record. We'd probably make the playoffs. So we may not, well, if we're looking for the 6th seed, we're probably going to win that game. So I think we go all out on that. With it in, and it's like, who do we sit really? If we got this, we got that last game sewed up, who do we really sit? Daniil Hunter? Everybody else is gonna play, right? So who are we gonna sit? Justin Jefferson? Yeah, but we've won without him. So yeah, we still probably win that game. I think we would play more starters than they would. But I'm giving us 10-7 record, 9-7 potentially if we lose both Lions games, or we lose the Green Bay or win the Lions. I think we win the next two games. I'm gonna call that. But hey, 10-7 record at best. Now, hey, I still have the contest of the Justin Jefferson jersey. Let me put this up here. If you comment below, tell me what you think our record is. 10-7. I have called it 10-7. Just make sure you're you're uh, you're subscribed to GG Sports Podcast, Purple and Gold for Days. It's over on the left there. So screenshot this. Minnesota Sports Dog, GG Sports Podcast, Purple and Gold for Days, and put your record prediction or who you want to be quarterback the rest of the way. Thank you for listening, and you'll be entered to win my 3,000 subscriber drawing, Justin Jefferson. Thank you for listening. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get a Minnesota Vikings. Let's get the Raiders on the road. Let's go. Cue the music.